Oogenesis is the type of gametogenesis that describes the development of female gametes. The germline stem cells that differentiate towards gametes is the primordial germ cell, or PGC. PGs are formed in the epiblast during the second week of embryonic development. During the fourth week, they migrate to the endoderm of the yolk sac, and in the fifth week, they have already arrived in the developing gonad or genital ridge. PGCs differentiate into oogonia once they arrive in the developing gonad and divide through mitosis. By the end of third month, oogonia cells are arranged in clusters surrounded by flat epithelial cells, which are known as follicular cells. Some cells continue to divide. Some cells are already in the prophase stage of meiosis I and form primary oocytes. In the fifth month, the total number of germ cells in the ovary are already 7 million, and some cells die. Many oogonia and primary oocytes become atretic if they degenerate. By seventh month, surviving primary oocytes that have entered prophase of meiosis, I become surrounded by flat epithelial cells, and they form together the primordial follicle. All primary oocytes enter the prophase of meiosis I near the time of birth, but they don't enter the metaphase of meiosis I right away. Follicular cells release oocyte maturation inhibitor, which causes primary oocytes to enter an arrested state or diplotene. They enter the diplotene stage, which is a very long period of resting stage. Primary oocytes proceed and finish their primary meiotic division during puberty until a menopause. Primary oocytes are vulnerable to damage as they age, given that the risk of having children with chromosomal abnormalities increases with maternal age. At puberty, a pool of growing follicles is continuously maintained from the supply of primordial cells. As primordial follicles grow, follicular cells become stratified cuboidal epithelium of granulosa cells surrounding the primary oocyte. Granulosa cells rests on a basement membrane that separates them from the surrounding ovarian connective tissue that form the theca folliculi. Granulosa cells and the oocyte secrete glycoproteins, forming the zona pellucida on the surface of the oocyte. As follicles continue to grow, cells of the theca folliculi organize into layers. Follicular cells also have finger-like processes extending across the zona pellucida and interdigitate with the microvilli of the plasma membrane of the oocyte. Each month, some follicles from this pool die, and some would mature and begin to accumulate fluid in a space called the antrum, hence entering the vesicular stage. Immediately prior to ovulation, follicles become swollen and are now called antral follicle or vesicular follicles. The granulosa cells of mature vesicular follicles surrounding the oocyte form cumulus oophorus. When the antral follicle is mature, the preovulatory growth phase begins due to the surge of luteinizing hormone. Meiosis I is completed, and two daughter cells of unequal size are formed, the secondary oocyte and the first polar body. After the completion of meiosis I, and before the ovulatory period, the Graafian follicle is formed, which ruptures during ovulation, and a fertilizable oocyte. That's all for today. Take a look at the description to find out how to contact us and invest in your health.